Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 25 vintage basketball cards that were sold on eBay for July of 2024. Now, a few different pieces of criteria that I put in all these videos, well, basketball in general. So I'm looking at 1981 and earlier, no duplicate cards. I do allow for autographs or variants. So if there's any of those, they can appear multiple times. Otherwise, the highest selling of that individual card. And this video does allow for graded and raw cards. Any type of lots, those type of go into honorable mention. Same with full sets. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at our first card, which is a Bill, and sorry if I mispronounced the last name, but I would assume it's Hoskett. Doing a little research on him, he won the 1968 gold medal as part of a basketball team for Team USA, and he was also a 1970 NBA champion. Now this is a PSA 9. I assume it's going into someone's registry because this one sold for $2,551. Up next, Magic Johnson. This is one of the two Magic Johnsons in that 1981 set. We'll see the other one a little bit later, in fact, but this 10 is sold for $2,558. Up next, Dennis Johnson is a basketball Hall of Famer, three-time NBA champion. This 1978 in a 10 sold about $2,600. George Gervin, known as the Iceman, he's a top 50 to 75 player of all time. And this 10 sold for $2,750. Pete Maravich, interesting enough, in college he averaged about 44 points per game. Youngest player in the Basketball Hall of Fame. This one sold for $2,900 in a BVG 8.5. Phil Jackson, looking into his coaching career, man, I was pretty impressed. Not only was he the Bulls head coach from 89 to 98, so he had Michael Jordan, but he was also the Lakers head coach, so he had Kobe Bryant as well. And each of those teams also had other players as well, like Lakers had Shaq and Bulls had Pippen and different things like that. But regardless, this must be a tougher autograph to get because this one sold for $3,000, and the auto doesn't look the nicest. Up next, Oscar Robertson, 12-time All-Star, the Big O. This BBG 7 is sold for $3,000, and I think this is a really nice looking 7. A 1970 Bobby Smith in a PSA 9, and once again for those registry fans, there's a few of these also in honorable mentions, I believe, and throughout. But regardless, 11,000-ish points, and his nickname was Bingo. Dr. J, one of the players that helped legitimize the ABA, 30,000 points between the ABA and the NBA. This 8 sold for $3,100. Up next, we have a 1961 Fleer Jerry West in a PSA 7. Jerry West is the face of the NBA logo. This one sold for $3,128. Dr. J, once again, but this one is autographed, and this one was an 8, sold for $4,450. Was there other one an 8? It was. So adding in that 8 added $1,300 in value to this card with a 10 auto. Up next, the Lou Alcindor rookie in a 7. Lou Alcindor, 19-time All-Star, 38,000 points, $4,500 for this card. Another Lou Alcindor or Kareem. This is actually earlier, and it's an Italian card. You don't see these pop up that often, but when you do, you gotta grab it. And this is actually a very nice looking 4, in my opinion. I don't know what the back looks like, but it sold for $4,500. One of the most classic cards in vintage basketball, the Bird Irving Magic Johnson. It's actually quite expensive to get all 3 of these autos now. From what I remember, some of these autos now cost like between $500 and $1,000 just to get on this card by itself. This one you're getting a 7 on the card and 10 for all 3 of these autos for $4,500. It's actually probably more affordable just to have the card now autographed than it is to chase it. A 1961 Fleer Bill Russell. This one I believe was an 8. Picture on eBay, not the greatest, and it sold for $4,550. Tom Heinsohn, probably 100% mispronounced that one, but 6 decades as a career in basketball between player, coach, and broadcaster, almost sold for $5,000 in a 9. I mean, this is a great looking card. It has that rough edge, but one of those that even with the really old cert looks nice. Another Bill Russell. This is considered the second Bill Russell card because he does have that 1955 earlier. This one sold for close to $5,000. Up in the 8th spot, we have a Moses Malone autograph from 1975. Not many autos exist of him from 1975 tops. There's only 23 with 3 normal 8s. Obviously, this is an MC, but looking at the front, it actually doesn't look that bad for an MC grade. And this sold for $5,500. Ed Fleming, this was from the first Topps NBA set, 5 NBA seasons in an 8th grade. This has not the best centering, but 57s tend to have pretty terrible centering. This sold for $57.66. Up next, 1981 Topps Larry Bird, one of his 2 cards in the set. You'll see his other one later, $6,600 on this copy. Wilt Chamberlain from the 1961 Flair. This is the first card I think of within the set. This 6.5 actually looks pretty nice. I know centering is not the best, but eye appeal wise, I mean, the colors are pretty vibrant. This one sold for slightly under $7,000. Up in 4 now, 1961 Fleer Bill Russell in action in a 9. Very, very great grade. And this one sold for $10,100. Another triple, but this one is a 9. No autographs, $10,389. Magic Johnson. This is the other 81 in the set. This does have an old cert, so don't let it fool you with that Lighthouse logo. For his first solo card, $11,157. And in the number 1 spot, Larry Bird from that 1981 set, $17,000. So now let's take a look at a few honorable mentions that I pulled this month. Up first, Ernie Calverley. Sorry about that. 3-year career in the BAA, which was one of the 2 leagues before the NBA merger. This is an 8, which is a really nice grade. It sold for $1,540. 1973 Wilt Chamberlain. The 72-73 was the last season Wilt Chamberlain played. This one sold for $1,550 and 8.9. Dick Cunningham. He was an NBA champion in 1971. Another one of those 1970 high grade registry cards. This one sold for $1,575. Toby Knight. He had a pretty short career, 4 or 5 years with the Knicks. This is a 10, so registry $1,583. Happy Harrison. He was part of that 1971 Lakers team that won 33 games in a row and also the championship that year. There's only 8 of his autos for this card on the pop report, and this one sold for $1,800. 1971-72 complete set. There was 9 cards graded by SGC, and the seller said they're near mint or better condition on everything, which it's a really, really nice set. And this one sold for $1,900. And 1957 Bob Cousy. This is labeled a rookie card, but I do believe he has a lot of earlier cards. And also a Celtics legend, $2,170. And I think this is our last card, but 1970 Lou Alcindor Kareem in an 8, $2,500. So that's it for this basketball eBay top 25. Hope you guys do like this new presentation rather than going to the actual eBay listings. If you do, make sure let me know down below in the comment section. I am also making more set videos or player specific videos. So if you do want to help on something in the future, hit me up Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or email. And I do want to give a big shout out to the channel members, Paul, Giles, Alaska Picker, and Herbert. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you in another video. And if you want to see other sales of basketball cards on eBay, check out the series.